like y'all.
For 2011.
Hey there, Professor. K-Shaw, what's happening?
What's happening, brother?
What's happening, man?
Good evening, everyone. Can I get everyone to move to the center section and move down, please, if you don't mind. So at least I have someone in front of me, I know who I'm looking at.
Man, church, we're in the back.
Yes, in the back.
I cannot believe.
Mixed together.
Is there an alarm on this door? There we go. You ready, Dean? Okay, how's everyone this evening?
Good. Well,
All right, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming out. Okay.
Just don't hit it no more.
Thank you. Get up for Dean, everybody. Technical advisor. All right. I'm happy to see everyone tonight. Tonight we're going to have a very interesting evening for everyone. We're going to have a presentation by Mr. Bill Stover, which I've been waiting for weeks impatiently, because I know he's going to share a lot of good information with us. And then we're going to have a question and answer session for anyone who has any questions, and then we're going to get into scenarios, which I know everyone loves it, right? Yeah. But tonight's going to be a little bit different. We're going to bring the crews up to the stage for the scenario. Oh, everybody's got nervous all of a sudden. But yeah, it's good stuff. So I will start out by sharing with everyone that we are in the middle of our nomination process for officers for Tinker Officials Association. We have, I'm sure, a number of you probably picked up nomination forms when you walked in, is that correct? Yes. Who did? Somebody walked through the back door. But other than that person, who did not get one? Okay. See, and you got a shirt.
I came right in front, you're right.
Wow. We'll make sure we can get forms out to everyone.
How many does everyone have?
Now, Mitch, correct me if I'm wrong, but the nominations will close the 24th, is that correct? Okay. So any nominations that you have them, you have an idea tonight, you can turn them in at the table before you leave. If you want to email us or you want to reply online, you can go to our website and email us your nominations. There can be more than one name, okay, for nomination. There can be more than one name for each office. Yes, sir.
Are the current officers willing to be renominated?
That will be addressed when we tabulate the nominations. Because we have, anyone who's nominated, we have to inquire and see if they're interested in serving in the office, no matter who's nominated. And then once we inquire and they are, then they'll be on the final list, final tally, and we vote. Okay? So yes, there can be more than one name for each office. All right. Does anyone have any questions, any other questions regarding the nomination process? Okay, good. We've had a great continuation of our training on Saturday. We've had a great turnout and participation. We're all excited about it. Our beginning and intermediate classes are just off the charts, which is good. We have a number of good officials coming through, and it's exciting all of us. So that's outstanding. The next thing that we're going to do is, if Mr. Bill Stover is ready, we're going to bring him to the stage, and he's going to share a subject with us that is actually vitally important to anyone's progression in officiating, and that is the ability to communicate with coaches. Everybody give up for Bill, please.
Give it up, give it up. Oh, you know what?
I'm sorry. I made a mistake. I forgot something. Everyone who is a member was here last week and this week got a wristband, correct? Okay, this is going to be real quick. Did you get one?
Nope, I wasn't paid last.
Okay, you paid this week, right?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, anyone who's a member, please stand up, please. Because we're going to hand out notebooks.
Paid members. Paid members.
Paid members. Notebooks with ink pens. There you go.
Yes, sir.
I made sure I got one.
I think I did. I think I paid.
There you go.
I think I paid.
We have some more in the bag. All right. Without further ado, I will bring Mr. Bill Sarge Stover to address the crowd.
Hey.
Good evening.
Hey.
I don't see enough chairs to fill that. You know what? How many of you have been on the floor and have heard this? That's terrible! You know what you're doing?
I've been the one saying that.
You know what? Every hand in here need to be up. Because I'm sure it's happened to all of us. Several times. And for some of us, it was justified.
Watch out.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But you know what? You get that from a coach, but think about it this way. The coach is not your enemy. You ever thought about that? The coach is going to rant and rave and jump up and down and act crazy. But why do you think that happens?
Communication.
Frustration.
Passionate about this.
Reggie said it right there, frustration. And why is the coach frustrated? Because somebody sent 2 first-year officials out here, and it's their first game.
That ain't it.
Or, I'm tired of seeing Colin every week.
That ain't it.
Or, this official just don't have no training.
That ain't it.
So what's it?
His team. And you want to blame us?
Is it always his team?
Nope. That ain't it all.
See? It's not always his team. You know, if you go out there and make 85% of his calls, or your calls, and that coach's team shoots 85% of their shots, guess what kind of game you're going to have? But it all boils down to one thing: communication. We have to communicate. So, in getting started with that, this little button works.
Wrong one. That's the mic.
Here we go. Take care of that for me, TC. This is what's called general techniques. General techniques for officials.
Turn the lights down.
Can't see? Help me out there, Carrie. Okay. Whether you're working 3-person or 2-person, here's the deal. When you go to the table, make your presentation and report your file, don't walk directly toward the coach. If the coach got something to say, the coach is going to say it. Whether he says it with you standing right there or you are 2 or 3 steps away. The coach is going to get your attention. But that's the reason why we go to table side and stay table side to give the coaches an opportunity to say what they got to say and not hold up the game. Because it takes longer when you go back to the other side. Most statements by coaches don't normally need a response. All you got to say is, I hear you, coach. Because if you're doing something that you know is wrong, and the coach knows you're doing something that's wrong, don't bring that to your attention. But if you already know it, hey, I hear you, coach, and just press on. Let the coach speak. Let him or her ask their questions. You be a responder, not an initiator. You know, sometimes coaches just want to vent. If you stand there and let them vent, give them about 10, 15 seconds. Let them say what they got to say. Then you go about your business. However, if you say something, then what's going to happen?
Confrontation rather than conversation.
Because guess who actually had the last word? Coach. What's wrong with letting the coach have the last word? As long as he's not talking about my ancestry. You can have the last word all day. Just go on about your business. Be in control. Be in control, speak in a calm, easy tones. Be aware of your body language. Maintain a positive and confidence about yourself. Don't be standing up there. Okay, coach. Okay, coach. Okay, coach. It's just, I hear you, coach. We'll look at this. We'll do better. Whatever you want to say to be said, but just be calm and collected about it. Don't get to that coach's excitement level. Of course, if you just kick the call, you have to go over there and explain. But if if you tell somebody, I missed it, what can they say?
No.
Get it next time. Now, I tell you, don't miss no more. But some coaches are pretty much understanding when you tell them you missed a call. But that's something you can't use all night, so don't try and use it all night. Here's something that we as officials tend to do quite a bit, especially veterans. Don't bluff your way through a call. Some coaches actually know what you should have called and what you should not have called. Some don't. But why bluff your way through it when you just be honest with them and tell them about it? Be straight up with the coach. It's always better to be straight up with the coach. Here's some situations. Coach, if you're in a situation where coach sees a play very differently than the official sees it, here's some possible responses that I've found. Coach, I may have missed it. I'll take a closer look. Or you can say, Coach, I understand what you're saying. My angle was a little different than yours. Or you can always let the coach know, hey, I had to play all the way. If you're confident in what you say and what you do, and the coach has no comeback. But when you are weak in what you say or don't address the coach, then he's really, or she is really going to be on you that evening. Keep that in mind. Coach is questioning your partner's call. It's easy for you to throw your partner under the bus. Don't throw your partner under the bus. You are a team. It's only two of you, the majority, you be working two-person game, or there's three. It's easy when there's three-person because two of you can gang up on the one. But when it's just two-person, you spend a lot of time over there at coach and I'm working with you, we're going to have a little talk. Because one thing you don't want to do is show that you are favoring one coach over another. So don't spend a lot of time with the coaches. But you definitely don't want to throw your partner on the bus. You can always say something like, Coach, that's a good call. As a crew, we're making the right calls. Or you can say, we're calling it at both ends. Or you can say, Coach, we were right there and had a great angle. Or you can say, my partner had a good look at it. We got the right angles. There's ways of suppressing what the coach thinks is you're doing something that your partner's not doing, or your partner's doing a bad job. Once you see the coach is starting to attack your partner, then you need to take care of that. Most of you in this room are going to be working with somebody who's new. And that's what's going to happen when we're working the junior high game. At the varsity level this year, a lot of you veterans will be working with a first-time three-person official. And that's going to be recognizable by the coaches, because coaches know who you are. They don't really know the new people. But times are changing. We're moving new people in and old people out. That's just progress. That's the way the world works. Here's another one. Coach is very animated, gesturing, throwing his hands up and all that carrying on. You got to get to the coach and make him understand that, hey, you got to calm down. Your one response could be, I'm talking to you and ask you questions. Put your arms down, coach. Okay, coach, what is it? What's the problem? There's a way to approach a person, whether it be a coach or somebody on the street, when they're animated. Just calm them down and then talk to them. Because again, for the most part, if it's a coach and there's a call that was made or missed that he didn't like, he wants to vent about it. But we ain't gonna have him venting all night. But you can give him 10 or 15 seconds, especially if you kick the call. And you know you kicked it. But get over there, make sure that coach calms down a bit, and then talk to him. If they got to talk, if they want to talk to you, throwing their hands all up in there and whatnot, we're not going to talk to them. So you can always tell them to put your hands down and what's your question? Another one. Coach is commenting on something every time you go up and down the floor. How many of us have heard that? You know, the book response is for them to pick their spots and this and that. I tell the coach, I found a spot. This team has the ball. And I'm almost right in front of him. I blow my whistle. And I turn around and ask the coach, I say, Coach, what's the problem? What do you think happens in a ball game like that? All the attention goes from my whistle to the coach. Now, he's got to say something to me about what's going on. But I got to let him know that, Coach, I can't have you questioning every call up and down the floor. Now, if there's a problem, let's discuss it right now. Well, you're going to get some response. You're always going to get a response from a coach. Take the response, tell him, I hear you, and go about your business. But if you stay in there and go back and forth with him, you're just going to make the situation worse. Okay? So, find out what his problem is, and then press on. Here's a situation I like. The coach has a good point. And there are coaches that a lot of times have a good point. If you ever work over Millwood, and Verl Franklin gets up off the bench and says something to you, might be a good idea to listen. Because he doesn't get up off the bench and say nothing to anybody very often. So sometimes the coach has a good point. Sometimes the coach can tell you something that may help you the rest of the evening. If you think it's beneficial, use it. You can, hold on. Go ahead.
At what point are you done talking with the coach? If he's griping at you every trip up and down the floor, and you talk to him, and he's still griping, when is enough?
When you had enough, when you had enough, how much is enough for Rick?
Enough for me is if it's 3 or 4 trips down and he's complaining, I'm going to dead ball. I'm going to ask him what's going on. If it continues another trip or 2 up and down, I'm going to blow my whistle and he's getting a warning.
There you go. Everybody hear that? That's exactly the way to do it. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. You know, it's been told over the years that you can do this in 3 stages. First, you can go over there and tell the coach, stop the game, tell the coach about it. Now you've been there once. The next time you go down that trip down the floor, you still got that problem, it's a warning. It's 2 times. The next time you go over there, what's going to happen? Automatic.
Second toss.
Automatic. No ifs, ands, buts about it.
And the good coaches know after the warning.
Exactly right.
The bad coaches, they want it anyway.
But ensure that when you warn a coach, coach, that's your warning.
No, they need to do.
Hey, Rick, I've warned the coach.
That's the biggest thing.
Gary, I've warned the coach.
Put it in the book.
In the book. We're done. It's no doubt about it now. So if the coach get out of hand, guess what?
Forgot about the put it.
It's a done deal. You don't even have to go by near it. Especially if he comes towards you. Now you're gonna be all fancy about it, but just take care of that business. Where we at? Okay, you can just tell him, hey, you might be right about the play. Or you can tell him, you might be right, that's one we'll talk about at halftime. If we have the coach is saying something that we need to talk about, hey, you guys might want to talk about that. We'll talk about that. Because again, coach is not your enemy. Coach may be able to help you. Also, you might say, you might be right. I might have had that angle wrong. I may have missed that. I didn't see it. In 2-person, a lot of you in here are going to be working 2-person. Not so much the bigger kids as the smaller kids that we're going to miss stuff. Be able to be fast enough. If you miss something, you missed it. Okay? And this is what Rick was alluding to. If the coach just won't let it go, just won't let it go. But again, make sure, number 1, you've talked to that coach. Number 2, you've warned him. And number 3, it should be automatic. Any questions so far?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I'm coming to notice, well, I've been noticing for some time, there's a difference between a school ball coach and a recreational coach.
Exactly.
And I'm noticing my attitude with recreational coaches is becoming very bad. And I'm trying to fight myself to not have that same attitude with school ball coaches.
Sorry, it's going to be
You know what you need to do? Get out of rec ball. Everybody understand what Cornell's saying?
Yeah.
And I was right with him. I had the same problem. I got tired of these coaches down the Lighthouse, at the PCO, not knowing how to coach. Always fussing about something they don't know. Yeah, you can dribble twice. So what did I do? I got a rec ball. That's not necessarily the answer, because there are games that you have to work. But I understand your point, Cornell. You had something, Wayne?
Yeah, we're going to have a question and answer session right after this. So if you hold all your questions and then we'll address them to the panel, we can get your answers.
That is a good point. But save that, Cornell, because we're going to have an expert panel up here in a minute. Okay, let's press on. I'm going to give you 10 things that would help you when dealing with coaches. 10 things. Number 1, and don't be afraid, you new officials. I know y'all afraid of reading in the classroom. Make eye contact. Whoever you talk to about anything, make eye contact. You know what that does? Shows confidence. I know what I'm talking about if I'm looking at you. But if I'm looking over here, yeah, Coach, now you want to sit down. You might do this, Coach. That don't get it. Number 2, always, always, always use book verbiage in your explanation. Not, well, I thought it was a book says, always use book verbiage. Number 3, and I know a lot of folks that do this. Never, ever, never, I don't care if you're married to the coach, call the coach by the first name. Because that gets on a personal level where that person figures that you and that person, that coach, and you are now personal. Now something happens, now you got to go penalize the coach. But you've been calling that coach by their first name all evening. You can't get personal with coaches. I don't care how well you know them. If it's your brother, your sister, your wife, your husband coaching, if you out there officiating, you shouldn't be, but if you're out there officiating, you got to be professional. You can't be on a personal level with a coach. You can be a friend to a coach, but you get personal, I guarantee you they're going to use that against you. And don't let the other coach do it. We're really going to have a problem. Number 4, always show respect. Never tell a coach to sit down and shut up. You think folks haven't done that? It's been said and it's been done. And I've heard it. Nobody in this room is not to use that terminology. Show respect. Remain calm. If Butch asks you, why you not there talking to my players? You tell Butch, I'm not talking to your players, I'm only talking to one of them.
He ain't gonna say it that nice, though.
He ain't gonna say it that nice. But the thing is, don't get excited about it. Remain calm. I wouldn't say always, but if you can, let the coach have a say. We talked about that a little earlier. Let them go on. Most of them just want to vent. They just want to say what they got to say and get on about their business. You know, y'all could have got them calls down there. You ain't calling on this end, won't call on that end. Okay, Coach, I hear you. Number 7, going number 7. If you miss a call and everybody in the gym knows it, then just go on and admit it. I didn't see that block, Coach. What, they run ball player down there on the floor? How do you think the player got down there? Let me see, how did that player get down there? I didn't see it. So I must have missed it. If you miss it, you miss it. You can't go back and make it up. Because if you try, you're in for a long night. Let it go. If you miss something, admit it. Number 8. I do know some officials who can be confrontational. But we don't want to use we don't want to use what they call non-confrontational body Like, but we don't want to be bad up to the coach. Because I got the striped shirt on, I'm running things tonight. Well, I kind of am. But the coach has boundaries and so does the official. So don't take advantage of it. But if you see you got to take care of a situation, you have the tools in your bag to take care of the situation. Let's take care of it. And I see this all the time when I go out and observe. Don't use your hands. Your player. Just tell the coach what happened. 15 pushed, blew 5, and I called a 5. Versus 15, he had 5 over there, he pushed him. Don't talk with our hands, Colin. And one thing for sure we don't ever want you to do, don't ignore a coach. I've seen this where the official is standing almost right in front of the coach. And the coach is saying something to him.
I don't even look at it.
And the official won't even acknowledge that the coach is standing right there talking to him. What's wrong with, what you say, coach? What you got, coach? What you need, coach? Person's just standing there, and most of the time, the coach is chewing you out about something. But we know how to stop that, don't we? We can fix that. Don't ignore that coach. That coach is getting paid. That coach has a job. That coach wants to do a good job. Not all of them. Some of them out there just want to get out there to ride you that evening. But for the most part, that's not why we're out there. We're out there for these kids in this high school. This is not college. This is National Federation of High Schools. These are children that we out here fishing for. And we have to keep them in line, and we have to make sure that everything stays equal. We want to make sure that everything is fair on one end as well as the other end. If we're doing that job, then we're not going to have a problem with coaches. We have a problem with coaches when we get lazy, when we don't do what we're supposed to do, when we know that the ball should be taken out over there, but we're too lazy to walk over there and take the ball out of bounds. So we're going to take the ball out of bounds right here. Now that coach may have a play set up for you over there. And then you'll question the coach, or the coach will question, say, why did you put it on play over there? And you want to know why the coach is talking to you about it. Follow the rules. The rules are there for a reason. A lot of these coaches, you'll be surprised, know the rules. So I ask you that you do that for these kids. And finally, coach is not always wrong, and every confrontation does not necessarily warrant a tackle. So keep this in mind that the coach is not your enemy. Okay? Good luck. That's all I can say is good luck.
Good job. All right. Excellent job, Sarge. As I told you, he's going to share some very, very sound, pertinent information with everyone. Please use all 10 of his points, please.